What's up, guys? I wanted to share something different with you today, not just the typical, fitness post. We are going to have a workout, but I wanted you to introduce you to my friend Eugene and kind of tell his story. So, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, Eugene. I go by Eugene, actually. So I've just been a competitive power lifter now for about 5 years, including a break where I stopped training altogether. And I've actually been lifting weights for over 11 years now.
And we're kind of opposite. I've been bodybuilding for about 10 years, and we actually met in the gym 6 years ago.
It's been quite a while, yeah.
I was just doing shoulder press, and this kid walks up and just starts squatting 400. Didn't warm up, nothing. And I turned around and I was like, "Hey, dude, can you give me a spot?" And I was like, "How are you just walking into that?" And just so led into a conversation, and I found out he's actually got a pretty cool story. Along with powerlifting, you've set records in the state, am I correct?
Yeah.
Is it squat and deadlift?
My 3 Indiana records are for bench, deadlift, and total at 198-pound weight class. And then also top 5% of raw benchers in the United States. And I've qualified for Team USA to go to Worlds for the APA as well.
So not just a regular gym goer, like this dude is freakishly strong. But then when he started telling me his story, there's more that just made my jaw drop and go, "Dude, how are you walking?" So you proceeded to tell me just out of the blue, nonchalant, that you've had multiple heart attacks.
Yes.
So go through the process of how that was presented to you and how that affected your mindset.
I had my first one at 20 and didn't go to a doctor for it, nothing. I just kind of brushed it off. And then about a week and a half after the first one, I was waking up in the morning, looked at my phone, saw the time, started stretching on my stomach, and then it hit again. It just like the textbook, felt like 1,000 needles going leading into my chest from my arm, and everything went black. And I went out, and I woke up, looked at the clock. I'd been blacked out for 2.5 hours, and I still didn't go to the hospital again. I dealt with stuff like that for about 5 years. So when I was 25 was the first time I actually went to the hospital. And they're like, yeah, you've been having heart attacks, and they didn't find anything actually wrong with my heart at the time. And then I ended up having a couple more visits, and they were like, they discovered I have an arrhythmia, and my arrhythmia is a sinus arrhythmia, so it deals with regulation of blood flow to my brain. So the biggest thing it causes is anxiety out of nowhere. And if I can't get calmed down, then my heart rate will accelerate, and then it just snowballs. I've had about once a year I'm hospitalized for my heart, and I now have a permanently damaged left ventricle in my heart, but they said my heart still operates at 100%, even though it's permanently damaged just from all my years of athletics. But I've been doing sports since I was a kid, cross country to wrestling, track, and when I was doing track, I also did soccer. And I got scouted as a sophomore for college for track. I was running 500 miles as a sophomore. And then soccer from 13 to 18, I got asked to play overseas for a U.S. ambassador program, stuff like that. So I've just been athletic. I wasn't muscular, but I was athletic. I was under 100 pounds till my junior year of high school. And I didn't graduate. When I graduated college, I was 140. So I was never a big guy.
So do you think all those sports kind of just made your work ethic where you didn't think anything was wrong? You're just like, well, it's just pain, I gotta fight through it.
It's just I never thought of anything. I just thought it was just normal from just being beat up.
Doing so many sports. I wrestled, and there's so many days I would get out of bed just like, dude, I don't know why my left shoulder won't work, but we're gonna go to practice today. I was
pretty bad to the point where right when I quit lifting last summer and fall, I couldn't even get out of bed on my own. The girl I was dating at the time had to literally push me up because I couldn't sit up on my own.
So it's finally starting to do a little bit of wear and tear on you.
It was, but I wasn't taking care of myself. No warm-ups, no stretching. It was just
walking up to 400.
And I trained the first 8 years of lifting without stretching, once. So the only time my warm-up was just going this lighter weight until it feels good.
What got you into powerlifting in the first place? What made it appealing to you?
When I was living in Fort Wayne after college, there was a man by the name of Brian. I always forget our gym name that we had over there off of Illinois. That closed down.
American
Health.
American Health, yes.
Yeah, so I was working and living with Sam at the time. We all worked at a vitamin shop. And I was in the gym training before work one day, and Brian comes up, and he was this 5'5", 5'6", bald guy with a big white beard, and he had to turn sideways to walk between machines. And he comes up, he's like, I heard you got a big bench. I was like, that's okay. He's like, what is it? And I just looked mean. Nobody ever talked to him. And I was like, it was like 10 pounds from double body weight at the time. And he's like, you do that, I'm going to fill your house with trophies. And I laughed, and he just goes, what's so funny? I was like, oh, you're serious? He goes, yeah, and that's when he said it's top 5% of benchers in the United States that do that. So I didn't think anything about my strength level because the guys I was training with were all lifting the same, but I'm 170 pounds and they're 210, 220, and we're all lifting the same. I just thought we were all strong. A couple of years later, I moved out Fort Wayne back home to Warsaw, started doing local meets, just kept winning and winning. And I kept backing out of sanctioned meets because I was just scared I was going to get my ass kicked. And finally, I just had to, buddy called me out on it. He said, you're just scared. And so I just jumped in and did one. And I won my first meet by over 300 pounds. And that qualified me for nationals. I took a break from lifting. Didn't know I qualified until someone messaged me and asked if I was going to Florida. And I was like, what, like nationals? And I was like, you qualified? Oh, I didn't even know. So I started training again. That's when we first met. Because I got back to lifting. I think I was like 6 months out from the meet. And about 4 months from it, that's when I got my first coach. And that's Carlos Moran. And he's out of Boston. He's the one who got me, fixed me up. Really has been the one who pushes me more about my overall health and just going on a platform and help get my mind straight with everything. And then I went to nationals. Didn't perform at my best, but I still placed third. And that was my so far only loss in powerlifting. But it still qualified me for Team USA. And then I backed out of Team USA, or out of doing that to qualify to do an Arnold Classic qualifier. And that's the meet where I set all my state records. And that was up until this year was the last meet I had done in November of 2016.
So it sounds like overall, like you've just had fun with it. There's never been like, I want to be the best powerlifter in the world. I'm sure there's still that ambition there, from sports, like I want to be number one, but you generally you didn't even know you qualified. You did it for fun. You wanted to push yourself. Do you notice like a common mentality or mindset in powerlifting? Because you mentioned this gentleman came up to you, he's very serious. And you're like, what's the deal? I just benched him.
Yeah.
Like, do you find yourself getting that same mindset of like, it's just so intense when you train? You have to go somewhere else when you're on the platform?
Not personally. I know some people who are like that, and they say they, tap into this other side and stuff, and that's not really me. You'll see me at a meet, and I'll be waiting between flights, sitting in a chair. Like this last meet, I was just eating a KFC bowl, almost taking a nap. And everybody else, you'll see people pacing and doing this or that, and I just sit back, relax. I mean, I've been doing it long enough. I just consider it a waste of energy if I'm up walking around doing that. And for me, it's as soon as I touch a barbell, I zone out. And as soon as I pick up a squat bar and step back, I will black out of the movement until I'm coming out of the hole. I just zone out so much. And it's just after years and years and years of training, and I train how I compete. So I don't change anything different. And it's just ingrained into me, muscle memory-wise, how to perform my lifts. So it just takes over. I don't have to think about it. I just do it. It happens. I don't have to go to another place or anything personally. I mean, I don't like to lose. That's a big driving force, but you'll see me in the gym training. I'm pretty carefree until I go to step up to that bar, and there's no real angry expression on my face or nothing. It's just turn red and you see veins popping, but I'm just
casually lifting a couple hundred pounds. That's one thing I was envious when I wrestled. Practice, I would do really well, but I would almost feel like I had to do something else to compete. So I would get so hyped up and nervous, and I'd be gassed by the time I actually hit the mat and shake hands to go. So that's something I kind of envious of. But